Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is the new intro to speech therapy. Many of you are probably wondering, what is speech therapy? It's a speech podcast that I created personally that deep dives into taboo topics, conflicts, and experiences that are not only relatable, but could potentially be avoidable. There are a wide range of discussions that I will be having surrounding books, films, pop culture, some current news, and more importantly, I will be having deep discussions about my own personal experiences growing up as a black, gay, creative male in a predominantly conservative, quote-unquote, Christian state. Now, your host, Ian McCrary, which is me, hi, will be doing most of the talking, but I will be having special guests, including friends and loved ones. This podcast is very personal, okay? And the whole point is to broadcast my opinions and experiences into the ether of the internet world, almost like a way of leaving my own personal mark on society, if you will. And to also be a lighthouse to anyone else who felt alone or alienated growing up in the South, especially anyone in the present who can relate to my experiences, but never really found their own voice to speak on such things. I've always felt that I cannot be the only one having these thoughts or opinions, and I know that the world is way, way bigger than Greer, South Carolina. So, speech therapy was born. I'm not looking to monetize, I'm not looking for likes, I'm not even really looking specifically for comments or followers. Maybe one day in time, if I'm consistent, all of that will come. But for now, I'm looking for my voice to be heard. The environment I grew up in, compared to the harsh reality that is life, it tried so hard to silence me, change me, make me into someone I'm not. I may not yet know who I am or how far I'll go, but I know where I've been and how far I've come. And that, ladies and gentlemen, needs to be discussed. So, welcome to speech therapy. I keep telling everybody that I'm a certain kind of gay man. And what I mean by that is none of the other gay men in my area are on the same wavelength. They're not looking for the same things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for communication. I'm looking for consistency. But nobody wants to talk. And nobody wants to, be consistent with going on a simple date or even having a certain meeting place. It's always meeting through apps, talking through the internet, or liking what you see online on social media. I never meet anybody organically anymore, or authentically, if you will. Like it's always through mutual friendship. It's always through networking, or it's always through social media. It's crazy. I would love to run into a bookstore or a thrift shop or even go grocery shopping, and my shopping cart happens to bump the guy next to me in the aisle, and, we both say sorry at the same time, and, we catch each other's eye, and then we meet on a different aisle, and then before we leave, he's asking to get my number, or I'm asking to get his, and we make that connection naturally, organically. But as in today's world, it's, you meet people online and you're talking for a couple of days, and then you decide to go on a date or two, and you guys have deep conversations. You seem like you're on the same page, and one thing leads to another, and you get intimate. You have sexual relations, and depending on whether or not you can be consistent with that, or if they were just looking for sex, so to speak, then you're probably gonna get ghosted. It's gonna be a very strong lull, and I hate that, because that's the community that I live in right now in my area. I feel like it would be different if I moved to a bigger city. Who knows? Maybe not. But I like to think and be optimistic about how it could be different. Like I don't have to, get on Grindr or get on Tinder or get on Meet Me or Group Me, Bumble, Hinge, whatever you want to call it, just to meet a guy that has the same interests as me. You know what I mean? And it's not just looking for sex. It's hard. I feel like that's why recently I've been going out a lot more to, nightclubs, with my friends, or even to get a drink at a bar, that's local or, out of state. It's fun. I meet people my age, where we're all there for a common interest of drinking and dancing. And, when I'm local, I'm more calm. I don't tend to show out and get wild as much. But if I'm out of state, like in Atlanta or Charlotte, I may go all out. I may spend a lot of money. I may change my name. Who knows? Who knows? It's nice to be adventurous and spontaneous and go to places that you're familiar with but are yet still new to you because you haven't been, in like a month or so, if that makes any sense. And it's hard when you grow up in a small town and you sense the mindset and the bigotry and the closed-mindedness around you, but you never say anything. You never speak out about it because that would be social suicide and also physical suicide as well. Like people will hurt you over the things that you say that they don't understand, because people hate what they don't understand, and you have to be safe. But now that I'm older and I'm realizing my power, as in I know that my words have strength, there's power in my words, and I know that whether or not I think I'm not in control, I am. And if I lose control, then it would be my fault. Like, I need to take accountability for that. So I'm aware of the discourse within my state's LGBTQIA plus policy. It's up for debate. You have your DL men, you have your straight men, you have your gay men, you have your bi men, you have your trans men, you have your non-binary men who are still men at the end of the day. They just, whether they identify by their gender or whatever they want to be identified by. Okay. It's a new world. It's a new world. So it's, when people ask me, why are you still single? I'm single because I'm still working on myself. I'm single because I know that I have issues that I need to, I really want to fully unpack before I try to share my life with someone else. And I also know that with the area I live in, there's not a lot of people who have the same interests as me, I like to read books. I like to go out. I like to eat. I like to drink. I like to dance. I like to be spontaneous. I like to go for walks in the park. Let's take a trip somewhere. Come over to my house. I'll cook for you. I'll go over to your house. You cook for me. We'll order in. We'll play video games. Like, it does not matter. I'll smoke weed with you. I am down for pretty much anything, especially if I have an interest in you already, especially if I feel like I could share my life with you. Especially if I feel like I could have a deep conversation with you and not feel judged and feel like you really are listening to me and we're connecting, not on a sexual level, but a form of an intimate level, Communication to me is a love language. And I know that may not be the same thing for other people, but for me, I love talking, even if I have to be quiet. Okay? Because don't get me wrong, I love talking, but I also love, being quiet too. I don't talk all the time. And I feel like if I find somebody who has the same balance as me, then not necessarily me believing in the whole we're soulmates thing, but it would make sense, like logically speaking, that we would just make sense. We would just be perfect for each other. You know, I'm goofy, be goofy too, or don't be. Just enjoy my goofiness. You know, you're romantic, I'm not, but that would be okay because I'm not romantic, but I love that about you. You know, opposites attract. You know, sure, I'm talkative and you're more quiet. That's cool. I can do all the talking. I know that we're not perfect. And I know that unless it's a topic that you're really passionate about, then you'll be talking, you know. And the same with me. Like, sometimes I'm quiet and I don't talk all the time. And who knows, maybe that could be the times that my significant other will talk for me. Those are just the things that I like to think about and look forward to one day. But I know that I can't get that in my area. It just seems like everybody around me that's gay or bi or DL, they don't want to come out of the closet. They don't want to talk about how, you know, certain sexual encounters make them feel, because the environment that they've grown up in has shunned being gay so harshly that they don't even allow themselves to get in that space even to assert their sexuality and being straight, and, you know, maybe being a little curious, or even, you know, coming out of the closet. Like, living in this state, people have been silenced so much because of their feelings towards another boy, you know, whether they're in church or their family has a big religious background, and it's so not okay for you to be gay and a Christian at the same time. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about how I know that the world is a lot bigger than the state I live in, and they don't all think the same. They don't all dress the same. They don't all look the same. They don't all talk the same. They don't laugh the same. They don't love the same. So I can't lose faith in finding love, even if I don't find it here. Because, you know, I can always go find it other places. And this is why I want to travel, you know. I want to experience different cultures, fly to different cities, meet new people. My soulmate could be in South Korea. My soulmate could be in London. My soulmate could be right here in the States, in like the mountainous area of Montana or California. My soulmate could be in Texas. They could be in Washington. The world is so big. It's so big. Why would I ever confine myself to just one space, one area, one mindset, one thought process, one mentality? That's so weird to me. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you not be open-minded? You know, when the world is so big. I think that a lot of the boys in my area are scared too. They're really scared of themselves, you know. They're afraid to be themselves around their loved ones because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to be talked about. They don't want to be cut off. They don't want to be kicked out. It's wild to think about that. Wild. I left my own mother's house at a young age, not because she kicked me out, but because it was time for me to leave. I had to be an adult early, so to speak, and it just wasn't a good environment for me to be in. But I did it. I moved out. I moved in with a roommate. It was hard being away from home and doing things on my own that nobody really held my hand to do for. But, there was a silver lining. The bad days I was having didn't last too long. And I eventually just, that's my rice cooker. Dinner's ready. Eventually I learned to pull myself up, out of the hole I was in. And I made some better choices. I moved into a new place. I started saving more money, and things were pretty good for a while. And then it changed, as life often does. Life is always changing. We're always growing up. We're always learning new things. We're getting older, and so to bring it back around, that's what I mean when I say that I think it's weird to put yourself in a box, to only have one certain mindset and not be open to new things, because as you get older, the things you may have liked when you were younger, you may not like when you're older. Your mood changes, your mind changes, your interests change, or they grow, they get bigger, they get smaller. It's all a part of life, But if you always remain the same, are you really growing? Are you really changing? See, these are the questions I'm going to be asking and talking about on my podcast. Welcome to my space. I have so many stories to tell on this podcast. You guys are not going to believe it. I mean, some of the stories you're just really not going to believe. And I know that sounds like me exaggerating, but it's the truth. Some of my experiences that I've only told a couple family members and maybe one or two of my close friends know about. And every time I bring the story up to them, they're like, I still can't believe that happened to you. Because, I have proof too. Evidence, screenshots, if you will. It's just been an experience living in the state and growing up in this area and dealing with the men and women, children and teenagers and people my age that I've dealt with. It's crazy. And even the older people too, man. I've dealt with a lot. I've had to face a lot of hate, a lot of confusion, things that were addressed to me that felt like they needed to be addressed because they couldn't understand. And and it's not even to say that I've been oppressed either. I really haven't. The only person that's been oppressing me is me. And I feel like the same can be said for anybody else who feels stuck in their ways or just stuck in life in general. You feel like you're not moving forward and falling back into old habits. Well, you're the only person oppressing yourself. You're the one in the way. So take with that what you will. I wanted to come on here quickly and just to give you a little taste of what I will be talking about in the coming episodes. So I know it was a lot of nothing, and for some it may not have been, but to the ones who feel like it was, oh, don't worry, I've got more content coming. Just gotta chop it up, be patient, and wait on me. So enjoy this creative outro that I made specifically for you, the listener.
So, that Ian guy? Yeah, he is super weird. No, he is really weird. Like in real life, he is really weird. Let me tell you something. I hate talking to him. Yes, because some of the shit that he says makes so much sense. I just don't be thinking about it like that, And it just blows my mind. The way he be breaking shit down and then how I understand. It blows my mind. I hate talking to him. He's super weird, bro. I hate talking to him. But, let me tell you something. Girl, stay away from him. Okay? Stay away from him. Don't talk to him. But I'm telling you, I hate talking to him, girl. Stay away from him. I'm telling you, you just gotta stay away, girl. You just gotta stay away. I hate talking to him. I hate talking to him. I hate talking to him. It's just a lot. Like, stay away from him. Oh my God, I beg of you. If you see him coming down the street, cross and go the other way. I promise you. Yeah, he caught me yesterday. I was running into the store for my grandmother. I was picking up her medication, and I come around the corner on an aisle, and he was there looking at deodorant. So I spoke, you know, he said hello, and then we started talking, and girl, I had a whole epiphany talking to this man in the middle of the store. It was crazy, girl. I hate talking to him because, listen, after I got my grandma's medication and on my way back home, I thought about so much in my life, girl, that I don't normally think about on a day-to-day basis. I had a whole epiphany in that store talking to him, and like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you see him coming, stay away from him. That kid is really weird. He'll make you think. But anyways,